Wannabe of one who tries to wrestle Tridd into the doghouse. He's a pretty burly lad.
Yeah, he's a hell of a unit, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
He's giving you eyes
He's giving me eyes across the green room.
No one can see, but Tridd is visually bullying Harry from across the room.
That's a thank you for reporting right there.
Oh dear. Li Shang Tao is going to be our first map, Harry. Winstrike running out with Kenzie on the Mei to start off with. Okay, Bazooka Puppiez are running the Diva. No Mei for them. So 3-3 into the Mei 3-3.
Opening up of a market here, and here potentially you can see Winstrike maybe trying to isolate some people. Mete has been isolated, as has Crandop, but there's a good circumnavigation of Bazooka Puppiez there to back up their tank line.
Oh, Sharik's shielded, falling extremely low. Discord Orb was cleansed by Chow, and now they are marching forward. Nice freeze onto Bruce and just eliminates the use of the defense matrix there. An easy charge for Chow also. No one taking or stepping onto the point just yet as it unlocks in 1 second. You can see now Bazooka Puppiez using that new speed boost coming up from Cave to actually secure the point first.
However, now Winstrike have to aggress inwards. They're trying to get Crandop, but can't really isolate him on his own at the moment.
Yeah, Chow already found a kill onto Track. Just a stray right click did manage to hit past his shield. Now Crandrop's shield going down. Chow's going to find another kill, and a Transcendence fairly early on for Bazooka Puppiez, and Sab is going to use it. Mete, or more importantly, not using that Graviton Surge just yet, but Cave finding himself another support ultimate as well. Winstrike are going to match that with a Trans and a Sound Barrier of their own.
Look at that cheeky sliver of armor under Chow's shielding. Jaws, that's oh so important. Mete has got the Graviton Surge ready to go, but Chow's going to be joining him any second now. And of course, Kenzie on the new Mei doesn't have any damage drop off from his Ice Core, so he's dealing 75 damage at range for every one hit. And of course, if he headshots, it's 150 damage, so he's going to get that Blizzard incredibly quickly. And he can also do huge damage to Crandop's shield. And we talked about in our first series how important it is to win out those Reinhardt shield duels.
90% on the 95% on the Blizzard. There's the Earth Shatter, doesn't quite hit anybody, and the beat is going to get laid down. Sav has switched over to the Ana here to try and stop all this healing coming from the Transcendence. The Transcendence is going to be needed now as they do get grabbed on top of Mete. He's just in the middle of it all. That Blizzard will end up striking down, but Chow and Kenzie, they're already going to fall. Chow's alive on the point finally, but I did think he was going to fall at the end there. Problem is now Bruce and just dueling out with the Mei does find the kill actually onto Unfixed, who was isolated into the sidelines. With Sab still alive and still having armor from Track throwing the armor pack on him, incredibly hard was it to take him down, and Chalet and Eng end up falling.
Long old brawl there from Winstrike, but of course, missing out on that Diva, they don't have that stall potential that comes when you can get back to a point quickly with those boosters. And now Winstrike are in a less favorable position. They're attacking with the Mei, so they're not going to be able to isolate people as effectively. It's going to be sort of like a half isolation, blocking off one angle of support as opposed to completely isolating someone as they move through a choke point, as you often see when defending with a Mei.
Winstrike trying to bait people in here. They know Kenzie wants to wall one of Bazooka Puppiez off, but Bazooka Puppiez playing rather calmly right now. There's the wall straight onto Crandop, but he still has that Shadow. The Shadow hits the floor, and the shield was destroyed as well by Crandop. They knew it was coming. Crandop finds 2 kills. Brewston's going to clean the rest of them up. A nice team kill, team wipe for Bazooka Puppiez, and they continue to hold.
Clean 6-man there for Crandop, keeping the Bazooka Puppiez in this one. They've now also overtaken Winstrike in terms of the percentage that they've accrued. Chow, however, ready with the Graviton Surge. It's so important. They will not be able to combo it, however, with the Blizzard. We have seen that Snowstorm combo, as we christened it, so many times over the last few maps that Winstrike have played, but doesn't like that's going to be the case for this next coming fight.
Bruce gets demeched on the side. That Blizzard's not going to be needed, potentially. Crandrop finds 1 kill onto Chow first up, though, and Crandrop actually getting Nano, but having to hold the shield because he doesn't want to get frozen. Nano all but wasted. Sab's going to have to build up another one of those rather quickly to help Crandrop in the front line. A beautiful wall by Kenzie and a sound barrier to march Winstrike forward. Kenzie finds the kill onto Mete, and they are able to rotate onto the point. 91%, potentially a little bit more here as Bruce and just stalls out the point for much longer.
See, this wall is particularly effective because they're moving up against an Ana from Saab, and that wall will block all of the methods that Saab has of healing up these heroes, because you cannot heal through the wall, you'll just be doing damage to it instead. And of course it blocks a Bardic Grenade as well, unless you can get a really artful arc over the wall, but even then you're extending the flight time effect grenade and making it far less effective because people can move out of the way by the time it comes down. Bazooka Puppiez now only to win 1 fight, however, to claim market, and they do have an ultimate bank to cash in. 4 ultimates almost ready to go once Crandop hits another Fire Strike, but they've got to worry about the Snowstorm.
Yeah, Ana's always always Nano super early as well. Into the fight, 70-80% now. There's the Graviton Surge in the air, looked like it actually connected with the ball. Self-destruct comes down, doesn't quite find anybody, but a beautiful Graviton Surge in the corner. Sab is only just surviving at the end. Called that a little bit too soon as Kenzie Chow and Elfix do manage to kill the remaining members of Bazooka Puppiez. It looked like they were going to be able to get that one off, but Saab has got Nano Boost, but look at Winstrike pushing so far up to their spawn. Bazooka Puppiez aren't going to be able to touch, and Winstrike they're going to be able to claim Night Market.
It was actually a really interesting continuum there that stopped Crandop from landing with Graviton. First he got sucked into the Graviton, which was the first layer of control, but then he went to Earth Shatter, and Earth Shatter breaks the control of Graviton for the duration of the cast. It allows you to stay as if casting so that you can hit the ground and activate the Earth Shatter, but he got booped by Eng out of the Graviton, so he was traveling with a Shatter, but that Shatter gave him a long enough time that he could actually be frozen by the effects of the blizzard as he was traveling through the air, and then because the shadow animation ended because he was frozen, he was sucked back into the Graviton. So basically he just had a nice long flight of being controlled and not being allowed to play the game, and that's why Crandop is not in a good mood. And obviously he's just quit the game, and that's why we have a pause.
It looked like he got pinned to the wall, because the wall came up, and then I saw the grav, and I'm like...
It's like a parkour grav.
How? How is it in the air?
Because... what happened there for that particular grav coming through from the offensive Bazooka Puppiez is that they walled the Zaya as she came in. So then the Zaya had like, I'm up here, and then I'm not that...
No, visually display it. Go on, carry on.
So Zaya comes up onto the wall, and then she has a much steeper angle of attack for the Graviton, so it actually hits the top of Reinhardt's shield instead of hitting Reinhardt himself. So that means that the Graviton is basically where your head is, and because you get stuck towards the center of the Graviton rather than the lateral direction of the Graviton, you get brought all the way up, and that's why we saw Sharek just floating in the air. Good visual demonstration, my glamorous assistant.
We have unfortunately got a pause, guys. We should be able to get into the game very shortly. It was Gardens was our next map, so no more Control Center. We might not see it. We'll have to wait and see if Bazooka Puppiez can claim this one. We will go to that small best of 3, and that was where the Mave really shines as well. Control Center. There's only 3 real large chokes. Sorry, you got the servers, then you got the small little corridor in the middle, and then you got the big corridor on the right hand side. Perfect for Kenzie's Mave.
Yeah, especially. And it's really good if you can get yourself in a position to control the point with a Mave, because I talked about it in the game. It's a lot easier to defend with a Mave than it is to attack, and we talked about exactly why with how they managed to wall off the Zaya, because not only did that mean Zaya's Graviton was not in the ideal position because the angle of attack was altered at the cast time, meaning that it wasn't exactly where they wanted to place it, but also it meant that everyone else had to sort of like make a commute around if they want to get through the other door to try and follow up on that Graviton. And also, because the Graviton was up so high, that means that you cannot pin the Reinhardt, because he's actually out of the hitbox of the charge. It will just do the 50 knockback damage instead, because you don't have enough hitbox collision with the lifted Reinhardt. Man, isn't science fun?
Science is pretty fun, Harry, but I kind of want to go back and watch that at like 0.25 speed.
We've got to go back,
Jaws. Got to go back to the future, Harry, because we're in the future right now. Technically, the present might be the future later.
It's like 50 years in the future.
What?
It's in like 2060. You know nothing about Overwatch lore.
We discussed this last week. I'm not like clued up on the lore. WoW lore as well. I'm just terrible. Apart from when it comes to Lich King. That's about it.
Do we have Onyx today?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, Kran's going to have a little trouble. Kenzie just freezing everybody up. Mete. Uh-oh, headshot. Ooh, that was close. Kenzie almost managed to two-clip him there. Got to be a little bit more careful than that Mete, and actually forces Bazooka Puppiez back. They are running the Moira as well, so that's going to be the early coalescence being able to be used by Sab. Track is going to take down Unfix, but Crandrop falling. Even amongst that coalescence, there was just not enough healing to actually keep him alive. Kenzie pops the block eventually, and a Transcendence from main to keep them alive on the point. A wall to try and block a lot of those heals off, but there's nothing really to use it on there. A nice decent Graviton Surge. Chow throws that one straight into the mecha of Bruce, and thank you very much, but they're still able to claim the point. Crandrop eventually comes back as well.
Crandrop is for reinforcement, and now he'll be the front line moving up against Sharek. He's 91% of the way towards that Earth Shatter, and now he's got it ready to go. We can combine it with a Graviton Surge potentially, but there is the wall and the blizzard.
There's the grab from Mete. They're able to lay down the beat as well to make sure they survive, or at least some of them survive as Mete and Track go down. The blizzard thrown exactly on Kenzie's feet, so it could not be eaten by Bruce, and his mecha's going to get destroyed as well, and Winstrike continued to hold the point.
Crandop went off in a skirmish in the backline as well, and then solo shadowed whoever was fighting back there. Chow, not like this. Don't challenge out the Lucio on the bridge, my son. It's not worth it. He will keep that 71 energy, and he will keep that Graviton Surge for the next fight as well. Hopefully Brucean won't have his number, at least that's what he'll be hoping. Brucean does have a self-destruct, however, even if he doesn't have Chow's number, which he can potentially use to try and take out a couple of members of Winstrike or buy as much space as appropriate. And when we talk about shield breaking, Jaws, it's doubly important against this Winter Goats composition that Winstrike are using, because the second that Reinhardt shield breaks, he can be easily frozen.
What a wall! Wow, Crandrop didn't actually fall off the edge. I thought he might have done. That shield is going to go down very quickly. Sab, by the way, has changed over to the Ana this time instead. Eng does manage to find the boop on Crandrop, so a one-team fight it is for Winstrike. There's no Discord orb, however, for Bazooka Puppiez, and Sab clearly valuing that bio grenade extremely highly. We saw him just not a moment ago on the previous map actually switch over to that after the initial push.
And I feel like the Ana is very much mitigated by the walls of the... I feel like a Moira would be better here against walls because you could potentially fade around a wall if it doesn't completely lock down a point of ingress. You can circumnavigate it a lot faster. Sharek here ready for a stealthy approach, and Winstrike here. They need to win one fight, Jaws. They're 95% of the way there, but Bazooka Puppiez giving the old do-si-do, the old run around, and there's the wall. Not quite as effective, and aims out!
No, he's not! He's staying alive somehow! I don't know. Oh, the whip shot from track downtown. Conks him on the head. There's the shatter on a nano boosted crown drop as well as the Graviton Surge came in. Another Blizzard, more defensively used this time. Is it going to hold Bazooka Puppiez? Because they've just dropped the beat. A hammer does strike the floor, but Sharek going extremely low, receives an armor pack to keep alive at the time. They're going to be able to back off with the speed boost of Lucio, but it's not going to be enough. There will be a boot from Eng to kill off Crown Drop yet again, but it is 99% in overtime right now. All the boots are raged apparently because Kenzie ends up booped by Bruce, and also Bazooka Puppiez finally find their fight in the game. However, it is 99% now, and they've only just managed to find the flip.
And it was an incredibly expensive fight as well. 5 ultimates expended there. Saab is building up towards an nano boost incredibly quickly. However, in Mete, try and do the same with this Graviton. 80% of the way there. Will use his personal barrier. No one's going to feed that one. Not quite the optimal use of that, I wouldn't have thought, my son, but he may well have it back in time for the engagement from Winstrike, so can't complain too much. Eng has earned himself a Samba, and this is incredibly aggressive, Jaws.
Incredibly early. They want to make sure they can find the wall off. There is the Graviton Surge. They can't use it now, but they could definitely use that Transcendence to keep alive. A grenade actually bounced onto the wall there and actually managed to get Eng. No more healing for him. Instantly signals his death. A Graviton Surge coming out for the side of Winstrike as well. Sharek, they're actually trading evenly. Meta is going to take out Chow in the end too. Another Blizzard might just be available. Kenzie throws it on him, but Brucean manages to find the eat. A beautiful headshot from Kenzie ends Brucean's life as he goes for the self-destruct. They are still contesting the point. Bazooka Puppiez going to have members in the point very, very shortly. Kenzie takes the dunk in the end, and Bazooka Puppiez continue to hold.
Oh, there's something very viscerally satisfying about seeing a Mei die in ice block.
She falls off the edge.
Such an annoying way to stall out a point, because of course you're invincible and you can still stall out a point. So when you see a Mei die while an ice block, just a little bit of
feels good.
Yeah, a lot of feels good actually. And now we have to push in, Jaws. Bazooka Puppiez are currently in potentially one-fight territory.
Another wall extremely well placed. Crown Drop's in a lot of trouble. Can't receive that healing, but luckily over the wall was the Lucio. Was able to get a little bit of healing off. Wasn't quite there though as Chow and Crown Drop end up going down. A beautiful shatter to potentially end the map from Sharek. That will be Kenzie once more, taking out Brucean. It doesn't matter if he's got a Blizzard, he's still going to right-click you to death. 99% and OT now ticking down. Bazooka Puppiez need to be able to touch. Jumping on the emergency wrecking ball, instantly killed, however, as Winstrike should just be able to clean the rest of the members up.
Okay, I've made it through, but got an icicle through the skull for his troubles, and that will be the clean-up from Winstrike, the clean claiming of the point, and, well, exactly what we expected. More Mei coming out on Lijiang Tower.
May. That's exactly what Winstrike got in their brains. Do they need to play anything else? At the moment, it doesn't seem so. Maybe that is the counter to the 3-3. The GOAT's composition is actually play the GOATs yourselves and sub out the Diva for the Mei, because it's working out for Winstrike over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it feels like you sort of roll the dice when it comes to swapping out Diva for Mei, because one of Diva's main sort of utilities, as we've seen over the last few games, that of course she can eat the Graviton Surge, but we've seen a lot of attempts to mollify Graviton Surge damage using the wall to protect your team as more of a defensive measure than an isolation offensive measure, and I'd like to see Kenzie sort of optimize that tech.
Not only that, you can use the Blizzard in a more defensive manner as well. Twice in a row we saw Kenzie use that Blizzard as soon as they get grabbed. It's super hard then for Bazooka Puppiez to actually force any of that damage on, because they have to walk through the Blizzard. Pretty impossible task some of the time. We're going to jump to a quick break though, guys. We'll be back with map number 2, and it's Bazooka Puppiez' choice in a moment. Hey guys, welcome back. Map number 2 on your screens extremely shortly. It's Winstrike versus Bazooka Puppiez. Now, the variety of compositions that we're seeing from Winstrike just boils down to one, and that is the Mei replacing Diva in this Goats composition. However, Bazooka Puppiez...
Can you imagine Mei piloting a Diva mech? Like when you kill the Diva mech, Mei pops out?
That would be the most frustrating thing in the world. Then you have to kill the ice block as well. Like,
yeah.
Dumb, Harry, come on. That's why you're not a game designer, by the way. One of the reasons, anyway.
And also my massive lack of qualifications.
Yes. Yeah. Also those, yeah. That's all. I don't know, you could be a... I'm trying to think.
A writer.
A writer. A law writer, Harry.
A law writer. I could do esports law.
Not esports law. I meant like Overwatch law.
Oh.
You're already,
yeah,
you could add to that.
I guess I could write law. I do have an English degree. Or at least what I like to call an English degree.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's not a great mark, I'm not going to lie.
Oh. I got the degree.
It's technically a degree.
I'm not going to tell you what mark I got.
Yeah, man, that's privileged information.
Okay, hold up. Hang on a second. I only just noticed what Winstrike are running. It's not Mei on the Goats. It's actually Kenzie on the Roadhog.
And we've got Unfixed.
Unfixed.
Doing his best Sardis cosplay.
Yes. Okay, cool. A bit of a different comp from Winstrike. Bazooka Puppiez are going to be scouting out here. Yeah, with Track. He was on the Sombra. They're going to go with this Brigitte. A little bit more of a dive-orientated Goats with the Winston instead of the Wright.
Meta, of course, going to have all the energy and more that he wants because of Unfixed. Very predictable patterns of damage with the spam. You can see he's already glowing. Just has to use his personal barrier for 40 damage. And don't stand there. Ouch. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a common spam spot for like most supports, and Orisa obviously as well.
Crandop.
Yeah,
Crandop. Get out.
Crandop went very low. Sab now switching over. Okay, doesn't want to play the Zenyatta. Again, valuing that bio grenade. We're not seeing too many Anas actually play in this Goats composition. It's mainly Sab actually trying to make this change.
You have to see if it is worth it. Main is going to be also mirroring on Viana, so there's going to be a lot of long-range healing available for both teams, and Bruce is actually going to be very much bullied out here. Main currently on the top right-hand side of your screen. He's up on the on that platform that's with the, I'm not sure what you'd call it, elevator?
I'm not. It looked like the monkey got slept. I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, they do have. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just noticed that Main's playing Ana as well. So Monkey got slept and he got dragged in by the Roadhog cook, easy mode. Will be Unfixed going extremely low, trying to throw out a few mines, but completely isolated. In fact, Sab was actually behind him as well. If worse comes to worse, Sab could just go around and bio grenade him. Kenzie is going to find a kill onto Track, and Chow is going to be able to recontest. Chow
and Kenzie are going to make the re-engage here. They've looked for Mete, but he does have the shields ready to give himself a little bit of extra energy. He's going to be joining Chow up there in the 100 club.
100 club and 2-point club for Bazooka Puppiez right now. 73% has been acquired, but Sab already has that nano boost. That's going to be an ideal target, even for Crandop here or for Mete when he activates the Graviton Surge.
Already, Crandop has been afflicted with a nano boost, but Main still can use his own at any given time.
Oh, look at that grab. Perfect. Death from above from Unfixed, just arcing the grenades perfectly. Track, Cave, and Mete are going to go down. That'll be Winstrike marching forwards. Crandop's going to fall as well, but Bazooka Puppiez, they expend one ultimate in that fight, and it was only the nano.
Yeah, they traded 1 for 2, both for Graviton and the Sound Barrier being used on the side of Winstrike. So overall, Jaws, that's a trade that you'll take any day of the week. It's going to be grab advantage now for Mete. Chow's only at 17%. So we'll have to see if he can build that up rather quickly. There's the potential for a grab hook combo, but Kenzie there getting a little bit of a breakage. Need to invest in stronger chains, my dude.
Yeah, you do. He has got Nano Holt coming up soon. Maybe they do use that. I can imagine that might just go on Shark if he's in a little bit of trouble. They do have the Bongo as well. Now Supercharge going down. That beat and the Primal Rage being used. That's a big Holt actually pulling everybody together. Unfixed couldn't quite make the damage stick and use the tire also without little effect. Chow gets caught and solo killed in the Graviton Surge. Bruce throws in the Self-Destruct just for good measure, but still Winstrike refused to let go of this point.
And there's so many great shields here from Mete, really protecting people from the Kenzie hooks right now. Brucen's in his sight line. You gotta turn around,
yeah, he's taking a lot of damage. In fact, he gets hooked back in, almost losing the mech as well. With Mete going down, those shields cannot be applied to the front line anymore. They're going to be able to stagger this baby Diva as well. They might just kill her with the hook. Oh no, Shout just finishing him off, so big stagger now. 45 seconds remain to find just one tick.
I would love to have seen the extra stagger there with the hook and the Holt combo, but for now it looks like Kenzie's going to actually be quite stealthy quickly. Bruce is actually swapping over to the Hanzo, Trek onto the Farah. It's a wholesale swap up here. Jaws from Bazooka Puppiez. They're keeping Sab on the Ana, however. They want to be able to use that nano boost. They can give it to Crandop, to Trek, or to Bruce, and all of them are reasonably viable targets. But they're going to have to contend with the overshield that Ink can supply in short demand with the Sand Barrier that's already coming through. But Kenzie's actually not got it because of the blockage of Crandop's shield.
Well, Tracker's nearing that rocket barrage. He's 75% already. The hook from Kenzie is actually going to go a little bit wide. Main did nano him as well to keep him alive, also to give him a little bit of damage resistance and damage boost as well. Now, Bruce going down to Unfix. You've got to be a little bit more careful when running into Unfix. Junkrat, Projectile King as he takes out Track in midair as well. Main finishes off Sab as well with the grenade. Only 2 ticks have been acquired. Mete's going to be the last to fall. And Winstrike getting a perfect, almost a perfect hold. Bazooka Puppiez now, they are going to have to fight for their lives. What an almost impenetrable defense. Plus, they had ults to work with too. Unfix just had a rip tire at the end.
Indeed, he did. Counter Jaws, what counter? Just throw a mine in the air, detonate it, see you later, Track. Getting her wings clipped by a rat. That's not how the food chain's supposed to work.
What kind of birds are supposed to eat the rats?
Yeah, like in both Overwatch and the Animal Kingdom, this is not supposed to happen.
Or it is supposed to counter Junkrat. Junkrat projectiles, pretty good at dealing damage to tanks. Far as you don't normally see that often.
Yeah, well, the food chain is fixed, but unfixed is not.
Where are these coming from? These are terrible. Are you writing these down?
Wow. No, I'm not writing these down. I literally don't even have my notebook here. Where did I leave that? I don't know. That's a problem.
Who needs notes?
That's a problem for another time. The only note I need right now is that was a very impressive composition from Winstrike on the defense, especially being able to play that triple tank with the Roadhog. Roadhog a little bit of an underrated character at the moment. He does have so much value with that hook, especially when combined with the Orisa Holt, because you've got the double layers of controlling players' movement, because you can bring everyone in with a Holt, you know exactly where they'll be, you can hit that hook, drag them in, and then guarantee a pick, which is so effective, especially against 3-3 compositions where you really rely on every single person of that composition to uniquely add their skill set, and only together are they as effective as they would be as like peak efficiency is. That's a sentence.
That's a sentence and a half, yeah. Bazooka Puppiez now on the defense. Winstrike on the offense. Unfix running out on the Sombra. I can imagine he's just going to use it for a little bit of scouting. Eng as well, going to use that Sonic Arrow. We'll see if they can actually spot Bazooka Puppiez out here. Sonic Arrow could just reveal all.
Oh, that's a yikes.
Wow, perfect. Yeah, they heard it as well. Sonic Arrow does give a small audio indication when it is near you. So a little wubbing sound.
So it's time to Scarpa. Winstrike going to go back to the Winter Goats. Kenzie back on the May. They're going to be looking to isolate someone here, likely Crandop or Meta, and they get an early pick, but straight away, see a Crandop potentially.
Yep. No shields available. Isaiah was trapped behind the wall. Nice boop actually into the rest of the team. Sharek main chat. Oh, got the names on the board already sitting on the point. Kenzie May almost unlosable apparently. Winstrike are going to claim the point and claim match point in the series as well.
Kenzie there, having a little bit of a sit down, the emotes coming out, and you can see just how effective it was to use that speed boost from Eng. They completely caught Crandop by surprise. It was a great degree, there was a great 45-degree angle on that wall, making sure that like they were cut off like this, so that Crandop was on this side of the wall, the supports were on this side of the wall. There was no like line of sight here that could be used to help out Crandop. Meta actually poked his head around, gave him a projected barrier, but when you've got all of that composition bearing down upon you, doing 200 HP barrier ain't gonna do anything.
Yeah, it's gonna disintegrate pretty quickly, and it just forces the enemy into weird sightlines that they don't necessarily want to take. Plus, it forces them in that situation to like a small choke as well, and so they all have to kind of peek their head around and receive a whole bunch of damage. Crandop falling, main tank going down, normally means the end of Goats, and that's exactly what happened. Now, Winstrike are on match point in the series. We're gonna jump over to the desk where the guys can go break it down.